You're listening to Errol Parker and Clancy Overall, editors of the Betoota Advocate on Desert Rock FM. Welcome back to the Betoota Advocate radio show. Very excited. Today's guest is a second-timer.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, there's not many in the illustrious list of
Not many, no.
two-timers.
I feel very privileged.
Yeah. What are we working with? We've got probably Bam Bam Tuivasa, Becky Lucas,
Lek Blaine.
Lek Blaine.
Coxie.
Coxie. Brad Cox, thank you for joining us.
Of course, man. It's good to be back here.
Album's just come out. It's called Acres.
West of the Rock, mate. That's a lie, that line.
Yeah. Just tell us what's been going on since we last saw you. It would have been a couple of years ago. We were kind of in and out of pandemics. And
Yeah, well, the world shut down for a few years,
Yep.
so did a lot of smoking dope and playing PlayStation for a little while.
Hell yeah.
As you do when you're a muso and the world ends.
bit of that Riverina Rolly.
Yeah, that's right, hey. And then, mate, I actually went out west and jumped back on a tractor for a few months.
Right.
Which was much more for my head than my bank account.
Yep.
Yep.
We were living in Newcastle in a rental, and Sammy and I were about to murder each other. And
Couldn't live in the city for that.
yeah, I decided that there's only so many times you could mow the lawn of a fucking rental.
Yep.
Am I allowed to swear on this
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah,
'Cause
do whatever
I'm
you
very
Say
bad
whatever
at trying
you
not to.
fucking want.
Do whatever you fucking like.
So I went out west, out to Walgett, Western New South Wales, and
Way out.
yeah, jumped on a tractor and did a planting season out there, which, as I said, was much more for my head than.
Who
my
were you
bank
with out
account.
there?
It's come around again.
A few of the O'Briens as well.
Right.
I was working out there, and I was living with some of the mates that are their neighbours.
Yeah.
I was out there for 6 or 8 weeks, and it was great, man. It was good to be back doing stuff, and it was almost like going back to where I cut my teeth,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So did that, and then Sammy and I were in a really strange situation where we kind of in a rental but had nowhere to be, and she's from Townsville, so
Yep.
we jumped in the car and. We lived in the car for,
Yeah.
I want to say 12 months.
Yeah.
And we played 60, 70 shows.
So you went-
small
you
shows.
went up
So
the
that
coast.
was 12 months in a Hyundai i30 or a...
A RAV4.
Oh, yeah. Compact
Not much
SUV, yeah.
Not much better. But yeah, look, Sammy's a muso as well. And
Love your stuff. Sammy's in the corner here, by the way. Love your work, Sammy.
But yeah, man, we kind of just did an opportunity where we didn't have anywhere to be. We're in a rental. We had this car. It's like, fuck it, we'll just figure it out. And
Yep.
we jumped the border and we put together a tour. Some shows were a capacity of 50.
Yep.
I think the biggest one we did was 300 in Townsville outside. But we just went, oh, fuck it, we got to do something.
And within the parameters of, not attracting too much attention by the health authorities. And,
Of course.
Yeah,
We followed the rules, but as you know, those rules were subject to interpretation.
yeah, especially in Queensland.
Yeah. Definitely in Queensland.
Yeah, it's like just do anything but
Yeah.
don't leave.
Yeah.
Because if you leave, you're not going to come back.
Yeah, that was exactly right. We battled with that a few times too. What I mean by subject to interpretation is we turned up at some venues, Rockhampton, where we live near at the moment. We rolled up there, and they had a room. I think there might have been 150 seats in it that could have held 1,000 people.
Yep.
And it felt like a fucking Prime Minister's press conference.
Yeah, for sure.
They had got a ruler out, 1 metre, 1 metre, 1 metre. Anyway,
The old Rotary Hall.
yeah, man, it was like that. It was pretty strange. And we got up there and we're like, fix this.
Yeah,
This is uncomfortable. And then we got to Townsville and there was 300 people and they weren't allowed to dance, so everyone was just in line for the bar.
Yeah.
Dance their ass.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. They're finding their ways to get up and about.
yeah, but we kind of we're very lucky, man. I'd be surprised if any muso in the country did anything near what we were.
Yeah, right.
We were doing. We fucking make money, man.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
not exuberant amounts, but we actually did all right.
Yeah.
Those few years, which was. I feel so privileged, man. Like it was a guess. We went with the flow. I can't remember exactly, but we thought, we'll do Queensland, we'll do New South Wales, and the borders changed, so we skipped up there and pushed it back 3 weeks and swapped that around, and
For sure.
and
A lot of
made it
social
work.
media updates.
Yes, a lot of sorries. We'll try and get back there.
Yeah.
Did you ever have an idea to go over to the land of the free?
We're living in it, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Like popped your head in over
Yeah,
there.
no, because
Over
there's-
like Nashville,
they,
America.
Yeah, they hate rules over there.
They do.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, rules in Australia. Everyone goes, we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Not take my rights. So no, not that year. Not even a little bit.
No.
But that was kind of most of COVID for us. And then at the end of that, we were driving from Townsville back down south and past a little town called Marlborough, north of Rocky there. And we were looking for a place to buy a few acres, and we missed out on one just north of Newcastle a few months earlier. And then
you don't want to be spending much time in the Hunter Valley, mate. No.
Well, maybe
dreadful country down there.
Maybe it was a blessing.
So I just want to talk about that gig before you pulled up stumps there. That tour. Were you feeling that feeling that we're still feeling it now with live shows? You know, like people, touring artists will come to Australia, or people will have their first tour in a while, and they'll notice the crowd's just a little bit unhinged. Were you feeling that pressure valve, that COVID pressure valve in every one of those shows, or was it more therapeutic at that point for the people just to get out of the house?
Most of the time, people didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we'd say it.
Yeah.
We'd say, hey, how good is it to be here? And, but, man, I found that 99% of the time there's 100 people in the room, 5 of them have masks on.
Yep.
And everyone just goes, cool.
Yep.
Some of them don't. It was my crowd's pretty adaptable and pretty inclusive. Run your own race.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by like we'd say it.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like that. It just felt good to be doing it.
Yeah.
And I think too, people were like super keen to support it because nothing else had been going on.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why we did all right. Like,
and the venues were easy to. Well, the venues were begging for someone to just pop in.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm trying to think because it was such a blur, man. Like we were busy.
Yeah.
Like 65 shows I think we did on that run. Which I haven't done a tour. Like we were doing shit. I think there was some days where we did like 6 shows a week in 4 days. You know, like a couple double ups because we could only get X amount of people in the rooms and shit. So,
man. But we were trying to talk to Don Walker about that, like, you know, back when you were gigging. I don't think those boys would have been doing those kind of numbers. 6 gigs a week.
Yeah, and very different. They were sit down. We were sitting down on stage telling story. It wasn't like we were jumping around like fuckwits like we do with the band.
Yeah.
But even still, man, we'd also just come off, say, 12 months doing fuck all.
Yeah.
And the first week of shows we did was in Brisbane, and I think we did 6 or 8.
Yeah.
Got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I hadn't seen midnight in 6 months because we're all grandparents now. Everyone's learning how to preserve fucking pickles at home and learning to read
Sourdough.
again. yeah, that's right.
I just wanted to do to touch on that, Brad. Now you're a bit of a pioneer of permaculture.
That is the biggest lie of the century.
Up there on your farm, up at Rocky, you've got yourself some chickens. You been growing your own veggies, I hear. You know, like have you been spending a little bit of time down there in the heart of Melbourne, kind of learning off those bastards down there, or what?
Sustainable farming. We're talking.
I love the idea.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
Yeah. So you haven't been spraying all your blackberries with some
a Roundup
Graze on or something like that, you know.
There's a bit of a yarn about those veggies. So Sammy broke her toe or something, and we were going away for a while. And I had these veggies going that were getting overtaken by weeds, and I thought, I'll just put a milk bottle over the spray nozzle and cut the bottom out, and I'll just spray around the veggies, knowing full well it was going to murder every veggie in that patch. And come back 2 weeks later, and she was bare. Not a skerrick of green. So I'm working on the veggies. The cows are healthy, though. The cows and the chooks are going well.
Yeah.
And I've got a little goat at home, which has got a one-way ticket to the freezer very shortly.
That sounds... processing. Will be processed soon.
Yeah, that's right.
Why Rocky? Did you like the look of the place?
No, well, I was just getting to that before.
Yeah.
We were driving south of Townsville, and I stopped. It was right on dusk. Stopped on the side of the road for a wee. Big floodplain, beautiful mountains in the background, and I thought, fuck, this is nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, jumped in the car. I looked up the long-term climate. Great. I'm a fat man from the snow, man. You know, like you got to be considerate when you're moving to Queensland.
Yeah, I was going to ask that, but I mean, obviously you like the look of the place, but you grew up in Jindabyne. Right?
I did, but I also lived in the Northern Territory for a few years.
Yeah, you did your time.
I learned how to whinge about the heat.
Yeah.
So just for those who are playing at home, it's a lovely 22 degrees here in Betoota today, and we've got Clancy here wearing his Dolphins
NRL Dolphins.
Yeah, his NRL
Not dolphin
Dolphins
skin.
coat. And we have Brad here in a work shirt with no sleeves.
That's just to paint the
So-
picture.
Very Snowy River behaviour.
Yeah, we know whose blood is a bit thicker. Yeah. Getting a bit more sun to warm up.
Yeah, that's right. I think, but anyway, I looked at the. We fly, obviously. We
Yep.
fly every week. So I rang Jeremy Maru from Busby Maru, who's a born and bred Rocky boy,
Yeah, they're up that way.
and lives up there. And I said, like, what's it like being a professional touring musician and flying in and out of Rocky? And he basically said, oh, look, yeah, it costs you a couple of hours either side of a weekend away, but
Yep.
and a bit of extra dollars. But we get to live in a
You get to
beautiful
live
part
out
of the
there.
world. And I rang Brad Butcher, who's also a touring musician and lives in Rocky, and made just they said, fuck yeah, let's go, and it's right on the reef. We had a few boxes to take.
That's what I was going to ask. How's the fishing?
Great,
Yeah.
great. When you got a boat that's actually floats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a sec if you like, but I did manage to sink my boat.
Sorry. Let's get into that now.
Oh sure. Well, look.
Yeah.
Let's
All right.
go.
So what kind of boat are we talking here? Are we talking just a tinny? Or?
6 metre
Right.
plate, centre console. Very nice vessel. Got out off a group of islands a little bit north of Rocky. About 70 k's off the coast.
So like off like Stanage.
Yeah.
Around there. Like
Near there.
the Duke Island group or something around there.
Yep, out there. And rolled in there with a couple of mates. Biggest tides on the east coast.
Yeah.
Roll through there. And we knew that was the case. I'm not going to go too much into this, but there was a little bit of a mishap with another boat the day before I sank mine. So everyone was a little bit on
Bit
edge.
jumpy.
So what I'm concluding from that is 2 in 2 days.
Yeah.
But so I anchored this boat way off the beach, a couple hundred metres. I put 100 metres anchor rope out, which is what you do, when big tides and there's stuff going on. And I was out there with some real old chummers, like some real experienced seamen. And when it comes to the ocean, there's no ego. Like if I can do it, I say it. If I can do it better or I'm doing something, like tell me.
Yeah.
I think, safety is such a big thing when you're 100 kilometres off the mainland of Australia in a little 6 metre boat.
I'll teach you how to use a ski
it's
lift.
a good-
You teach me how to do this.
It's a good way to be because the ocean
definitely.
can kill you in 2 seconds.
Oh, for sure. Thankfully, we were sleeping on the beach though. We weren't on the boat when it all went down. But we anchored the boat, did all the right things, and then because we had a little bit of a mishap the night before, everyone was kind of up and watching the boat.
Yeah.
Every half an hour, someone was eyeballing the boat. And then dead low tide, 6 metre tide, about 4 in the morning, 3:30, 4 in the morning. Whereas if you've been up all night checking the boat, that's about the time when you're gonna fucking go to sleep for a few hours, And a big squall rolled through, and it must have blown 30 or 40 knots, and I think it just dragged anchor and hit the bottom and turtled over. So then, look, it is what it is. Bloke come running up the beach, saying the boat's upside down.
Too far.
Thankfully, I was pretty calm about it. No one was hurt.
Yeah.
No one was ringing a helicopter because they were dying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It is what it is. But we cleaned up all our shit off the beach and went up to the caretaker's hut, and I think we got a bit of Wi-Fi and rang the insurance company first of all.
Yeah.
And then we rang the Coast Guard because we were kind of stranded.
Yeah.
But we had a couple of rifles and permission to shoot on that island.
Yep.
We lost all our spear guns and fishing rods, but we had a couple of fish from the day before, I think. This was like Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we rang the Coast Guard at Stanage there and said, "Oh, look, this has happened. Can you come and get us?" And they, it's quite a remote part of Australia. So they were like, "Oh, we're just mustering cows at the moment, but we'll be there at 5 p.m. on the high." On the phone going, "Could you come Friday?" Like, we're actually all right here. We got a bit of tucker. And they were like, "Oh, yeah, righto, I suppose we could come Friday." Anyway, so we ended up shooting a couple goats.
Yep.
And cooked up a couple, big pots of goat curry, and we had some fish. We shucked a big mob of real big black lip oysters, and we sat on the beach and drank coconuts and tipped rum in coconuts, played guitar and smoked dope and had the fucking time of our lives for 3 days.
Pretty good, mate.
Until the Coast Guard turned up on Friday. It was great. But I'm putting my boat back together.
Yeah, right.
I've just got the new motor landed in Rocky recently. I'm still looking to put some of that flash decking on it.
Yeah.
That deck armour or similar. And I'll have it floating again hopefully by August.
We'll be back.
I'm straight out them islands. It's the first place I'm going.
Well, it's not the most shameful story, really, because no one was in the boat running.
No.
You know, like it's the yarn when you make the wrong call in the boat that people don't like telling.
It sounds like a roll cage.
Yeah, maybe it does. Get an alloy welder on the job. Put a big glass dome over it or something.
So what are the surrounding towns? You're west of Rocky or you're north of Rocky?
We're near Yeppoon.
All right, okay.
We're near Yeppoon, mate,
Okay.
so
On the coast.
Rocky's just the big hub and where the airport is and whatnot. So yeah, we're out near the coast, mate. It's the closest I've ever lived to the beach, other than Newcastle.
Yeah.
And we're on the ocean as much as possible, man. Like I bought a big tinny so I could have a boat for this summer. Before I put mine back together. You know, I love it. Sammy and I find ourselves, 6 a.m, throw the tinny in. Take the dog out, go for a walk along the beach and a swim and a snorkel, maybe a quick spear, and back home by 8:30. Like
Got 4X Island in the distance.
yeah, that's right. It's only just round the corner. But yeah, I've also just recently fallen in love with diving and spearfishing. I'm still very green, still very novice, but I just love being under the water. It made me give up smoking.
Yeah, right. Of
You'd
course.
think my career in singing would do it, but not the case.
It's the depth. Yeah.
Just falling in love with being underwater. So yeah, I'm doing that as much as possible.
Yeah, you do need that lung
too.
capacity down there, don't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, because God, I miss smoking durries.
Yeah, that's one of the great pleasures of the boat ramp, isn't it? Punching a durry.
Oh mate, there's superstitions around it too. Durry on the way out the marina.
Tell us, in between sinking boats and deep sea diving and
shooting goats was the line you were looking for there.
Yeah, sinking boats and shooting goats. I hope those are some new lyrics.
Yeah.
And the 60+ tour. Where does the songwriting come into it?
Well, when I have time, when I'm not sinking boats and shooting goats and
Yeah.
tending cows. Mate, I don't write songs all the time.
No.
A lot of people do. Sammy has to. If something goes on, she has to get it out. A lot of people are like that. But I kind of write songs in my head constantly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I'll have an idea and I'll stew on it for months and I'll work on it in my head until it's like got its legs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're so busy, man. Like I schedule shit into the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
I go, right, this week, hook me up with a heap of rights.
Yep.
And then I have all these things loaded, ready to go. Notes on your phone or voice messages are all great tools that we have in 2023.
Sure. Don't let that one go.
Yeah. As much as I hate, that phone following me around all the time, but it's very rare you lose an idea now.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is really good. So that's how I kind of write. I kind of stew on it and write notes and ideas and lyrics and titles, and then when I have time in the calendar and I schedule it in, I dump it all.
Yeah,
dump it all then.
So what's the overarching theme of this new album, Acres? I'm guessing everything we've heard today plays some part of the the DNA in this album, but
definitely.
Mate,
this album, it's definitely a catalogue. Like, there's 17 songs. That's why it's so big, is because, like we did a lot of writing during the pandemic. There's nothing else to do. But the overall the reason I called it Acres is for all the reasons I just said. Like, we've just fallen in love with this part of the world and the life that we've kind of created in the last few years, which, I don't resent the world shutting down for a few years because we might not have been doing that if it wasn't. But the reason I called the album Acres is because I think it encompasses everything I'm proud of in the last few years and a lot of joy in my life and our life and whatnot. But so there's no real running theme. I'm really good at writing heartbreak songs and love songs.
Yeah.
It's easy, mate. Maybe call me Brad Swift shortly.
Yeah. Oh, hi, mate. We love listening to him.
But so no running theme. But I think the title track Acres definitely encapsulates. I suppose that could be the theme.
Yeah.
That could be the takeaway. Is all these songs have led to Acres.
Yeah.
And that's the bookend to this kind of period.
Yeah.
And the next one might be called Divorce.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She knows. She's got keen eyes on him. Well, I'm about to ask about that. Who have you worked with? I'm guessing Sammy's played a big part in Acres, or is it
not
17 tracks top to bottom, no one involved but Brad Cox?
No, that's not the case.
Just on Garage Band on your MacBook. Yeah.
I am, mate. I struggle to open an email on a computer.
It's a good way to live. Mate.
Yeah, it leaves me behind, but lucky Sammy picks up the pieces for me.
Yeah.
He can construct a Word document for Coxie. Mate, I forgot the question.
Yeah, so have you worked with anyone throughout the last couple of years there?
So many, man. So many. So all these songs are co-written. Except one. I wrote one by myself. 15 of them were co-written, and for the first time I recorded a friend of mine's song, which I didn't write. His name's Joe Mungovern, and I've written a bunch of songs with him on all my projects. A dear friend. And it's the last song on the record. It's called The Storm. And he wrote the song years ago, and he's played it at a bunch of his shows over the years, but he never recorded it. And all of his friends, I don't know if he thought his fans wouldn't like it, but all of his friends kind of went, man, that song, you have to get it out there. And he just kind of never did. And we always kind of joked that I'd pinch it off him. If you don't fucking record it, mate, I will, Anyway, the time came, and I asked him, I was like, can I have it? It's going to round out this album really nicely. And he said yes. And it was funny, actually. We got in a room together, and we were going to kind of rewrite the song for me a little bit. We sat there for half an hour. I said, Joe, you know why we're doing this? And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, the only reason we're rewriting this song is so I can selfishly have a credit on it, which is just... And I just sat there and had this realisation going, for fuck's sake, man, you fell in love with the song the way it is. Why fuck with that just because you think it's a good thing to do to have your name on the record? And it was actually a really nice kind of... Back, get your fucking ego out of your head, dickhead.
For sure.
It's a good song. Leave it where it is, and I'm really glad I did because it's a beautiful song, and he's a very talented.
It doesn't
writer.
diminish you as singer-songwriter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's
one
exactly
of 17 written by someone else.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But man, I've written with shit on this album. There's so many credits, and some of the best dudes in the world, number ones, global number ones, Grammy Award winners. To name a few: Dan Isbell, Adam Craig. Jordan Walker wrote Hurricane for Luke Combs. Dan Isbell is coming out with Luke in August. He has a bunch of cuts on his last few records.
Is there going to be a big link up there, you reckon?
Oh, look, don't know.
I'd love to see you two crooning in a duet.
I reckon it'd go all right. I've never met Luke before. I'm sure it'll happen one day. But yeah, Dan's actually coming out with him. Yeah, right. And he's invited us to go to the show, and I'll obviously catch up with Dan. So who knows?
Who knows?
I feel like Luke knows about me because we're on the same label, so I'm sure they're fucking hammering him.
Yeah.
Gonna get Coxie on board, which is good. But we've just never met before, so look, I'm sure we'll get along just fine.
Yeah,
he likes writing songs and fishing and shooting things, and you know what I mean,
drinking
beers with the boys. So.
Well, mate, it sounds like an exciting time. Sounds a lot. It's funny now. This is the ramp up. Obviously, the album's out. The album's just very recently out, and this is where things get busy. But I actually don't think, in the scheme of things, it's probably going to be a bit cruisier these next few months for you compared to the 65-plus dates you spent on the road in the RAV4, buying land and building a farm. I think being back on the road might be a bit of peace for you.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah, look, the album's just out, and we got a few weeks off now, but then the tour hits. So we're doing tour. I think it's 10 shows at the moment.
10 shows in June, yeah.
In June, we're doing like Sunny Coast, Brisbane, Northern New South Wales, Sydney, Newcastle, Wollongong.
I actually saw a few iconic venues. The old Gov in Adelaide's a bit of fun.
Yeah, man. Have you been there?
Yeah, we've been.
We had a show there.
We did a we had a live show there.
Love Adelaide.
And then Anita's Theatre in Thurrool.
I've never been there.
That's a good spot.
I've skateboarded as a 14-year-old kid, probably trying to find some bongs to smoke or something in their car park many years ago. But I've actually never been inside there. But it's such an iconic venue, man.
Because it's right next to the surf club too. So you're either the warm up or the exit plan for the surf club. You know.
Oh, they're getting the best of both worlds, aren't they? That's and they're all selling really well, man. We're going to Perth for the first time. It's nearly sold out.
Yep.
We've been to the Gov once before, and we're going back again.
Yeah.
Love Adelaide. Sammy and I are going to go in a few days early and go and hang out. I feel like Adelaide's like Melbourne that Coxie can handle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like without getting arrested.
Yeah, for sure. They'll have you.
Well, but then in Melbourne you're playing at the Northcote Theatre, so you're right in the thick of it.
Yeah, again another one I've never been to, but these are big venues, man. Like, they're up over 1,000 people.
Yeah, for sure.
And
mate, the Hilltop Hoods would still play the Gov.
Yeah.
You know? And then those guys do
Gov's
stadiums
great.
in other cities, but the Gov's like the spot. I'm not sure what the equivalent would be in Queensland.
Probably
feels like
TIV,
Yeah, it might be a bit bigger than the TIV.
which is where you're playing in Brizzy at the TIV.
Yeah, well, man, the TIV, I'm really excited, man. That for us, that's one of those venues like we've supported guys
Yeah.
there. We
Yeah.
supported Randy Houser there, I think, a bunch
Yeah.
of years ago. And
Yeah.
it's kind of the ones going, oh yeah, we'll do this one day,
Yeah.
but wondering if you ever fucking
Yeah,
will,
for
you know.
sure.
And
No,
now,
that's a big coup, mate. The TIV.
yeah, really, I'm really looking forward. It's a good show. We've incorporated a bunch of new elements in the new show for the tour, which we haven't played yet. We've just been rehearsing it recently, and I'm playing the keys a lot.
Yep.
Bought a piano recently, which I've just
Right.
fallen in love with, and I've been playing more music at home than I ever have in my life
Yeah.
because of that. So it's been really nice to kind of integrate that
Yeah.
kind of stuff into the show too. And yeah, man, it feels like we're doing shit. As I said just a second ago with the rooms, it feels like we're doing shit that you wondered whether we'd ever have the opportunity to do
Yeah.
and do successfully.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling.
for sure. I mean, the trajectory, and especially after the pandemic, where you were able to keep working and see this keep going up and up. Yeah, I think it was time for you, though. We've all got to agree with that. I mean, you especially put the work in, and you've got the fans. So you're not going to play venues that are too small.
It's funny though. I often think, like there's guys that put a fucking TikTok out and they scream with the
Yeah.
top of the things. I think I'm really glad that didn't happen to
Yeah,
me.
for sure.
It's been quick, man. Like on the scheme of things, like it's not that many years ago we were jumping in a fucking panel van or station wagon with a guitar amp on our laps, going to my band. Hey boys, sit in that for 10 hours. I'll give you $50 when we get there. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
It wasn't that many years ago, and I think it's been really nice that we've grown together,
Yeah.
albeit quick. Like I'm very lucky. Very lucky. We work hard, but I'm very lucky. But I'm kind of glad that my fans have grown with me too, and I have a really special kind of
Yeah.
connection with my fans, and like it's almost like a mutual respect. I know a lot of them by name, man. Like I have some fans that I have seen at
G'day,
shows
mate.
in fucking Dead Set in Melbourne, in Cairns, like the same guys.
Yeah.
And they're not there to try and be mates with me. They just fucking love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the first time recently, I actually got to after a show in Port Macquarie a few weeks ago. It was a very small little show. I'm testing this new thing I'm doing, and they said, "Oh, should we have a beer, Coxie?" And I just went, "Oh, fuck it, today's the day." I went in the green, I grabbed a couple of cigarettes, and we sat in the park across the road all night and had a beer, and it was really good. It's really nice to do that. Yeah. And they just love it.
Yeah,
They just
for
and they're
sure.
good. They're good
And they're
people,
not
man.
pests. They're just punters,
They're
mate.
not bad. They have my fucking name tattooed on their ankle, and they've never even asked for a photo with me. They do it for them.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
No,
I've got a lot of fans like that, and I think that's the reason. Is because
Yeah. Well, it's the slow grind too, you know. I mean, it is fast in the scheme of things, but it's not TikTok fast. And that TikTok thing, that's a sugar hit too, because you don't build fans doing that. You they just become aware of you.
yeah. Which it serves its purpose.
Yeah.
There's a place for it. Look, I really struggled to get around it because for me, the short-term media, it's like I worked for fucking 3 years on this album, man. I put everything I have into this, and you want to hear it for 35 seconds? Fuck off. Fuck off.
Yeah,
I just don't want a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, but it definitely is like, mate, it serves a purpose. It's brought a lot of people success. It brought a lot of my friends a lot of success, and not even in the music industry. I have friends that are building successful businesses off it, and you can't deny that. But I really hope, it's 17 songs, it's a lot to consume, but I really hope, my fans will do it, but I really hope my new people listening to it will consider that this has been a long project. And that's what I love about music. Other people don't. We live in a world of singles, and this is a piece of work.
Yeah, I was
going
going
to
to say 17 is that's a fucking album, mate. Like that's
a lot of content, a lot to consume.
That's a double-sided tape in the old business.
Yeah, it is. Well, when they said to me, like, we got a vinyl, it's beautiful, it's big, like purple vinyl, and they're like, yeah, we need 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, this also becomes very expensive because we've got to print 2 of them for everyone, you know.
That's the label's problem.
I
It's
agree.
not yours.
I agree.
Well, mate, we look forward to it. Anyone listening at home, you can listen to all 17 tracks now. Acres by Brad Cox, or you can listen to him sing 17 tracks to you live in a town near you soon. So thanks for joining us, Brad.
Rock and roll, boys. I won't leave it so long next time. I'll be the first third, eh?
Yeah, let's go third. We'll go through 3-5. Thanks, mate.